morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Monday, April 30th, 2018, and this is Joe Briano coming to you from Southern California under a quiet, cool Monday morning under a marine layer that is rolling in off of our lovely coast. I wanted to talk to you this morning about weaponry, ladies and gentlemen, and weaponry specifically that is aimed at children. That's right, your children, folks. You know, there's no better way to destroy a people than to make them kill themselves, ladies and gentlemen. And that is exactly what is being done to our children. And what better way to allow children to kill themselves than to make them addicted to the suicide weapon? And what better way to make them addicted to the suicide weapon than to give them the suicide weapon for free? And what better way to make them addicted to the suicide weapon is to demand that they use this suicide weapon all the time, and at the same time make it fun. You see, folks, I'm talking about iPads, I'm talking about wireless radiation, I'm talking about microwave weaponry that is deployed in the laps of your children, some of which is taking place by your own volition, some by your permission, and some by your omission and failure to act. But probably because maybe you don't realize what is being done to your children. Maybe you do. I want to talk about one of the most obvious signs that your child is suffering from microwave sickness, because that is the energy that is emitted from all wireless devices, Wi-Fi access points, WLAN networks, Wi-Fi hotspots, cell phones, iPads, cordless phones, wireless cameras, wireless televisions, wireless DVRs, wireless baby monitors, wireless security systems, wireless everything. It's all operating on unlicensed radio frequency bands that the FCC has allowed for the absolute proliferation of between 2.4 and just a little over 5 gigahertz, folks. And those frequencies are dangerous. So let me tell you what this stuff does to your children. Let's start with the most innocuous effect. Do your children get headaches when they come home from school? Do they complain about headaches? Did you know that when I was a child, in the 70s, I never got headaches, ever? And did you want to know something else? I lived in Garden Grove next to the 22 freeway, and we would ride our bikes and play hide and go seek and ditch 'em and tag in second stage smog alerts as we were jacked up on Abba-Zabbas and Coca-Cola full of caffeine in second stage smog alerts, and we did it until the streetlights came on, folks. And I never had any headaches. Well, let me tell you something, folks. Your kids are getting headaches, aren't they? Of course they are. And that's why when you go to the store, there's Tylenol and Motrin and Pamprin and Midol and Laydol and whatever kind of nonsense they have for headaches. Now, they got 20 things for headaches all over the shelves. Chronic microwave exposure from your Wi-Fi systems and their weapons that they've been given as toys or educational devices at school are harming your children, and they're getting migraines from these systems. Do you have a Wi-Fi access point in your child's bedroom? Do you have an Xbox 360 or a PlayStation in your children's bedroom? Did you know that when you turn off an Xbox 360, the Wi-Fi systems are still broadcasting unless you unplug the unit? You heard me, ladies and gentlemen. Turning off the Xbox in your child's bedroom doesn't stop the wireless broadcast unless you unplug the unit. Your children are getting migraines and headaches from their wireless exposure. Now, you could do something about it at home. You could turn off the wireless systems in your house. You can turn off the Wi-Fi systems when the children go to bed. Better yet, you can hardwire your home and get rid of the Wi-Fi systems. If you have an iPad or a Chromebook that has been issued by the school district to forcibly damage your child intentionally, that's what the school districts are involved in. I won't get into that right now. You could buy an Ethernet adapter that'll plug right into the side of that thing, and you don't need to use the wireless component of that device. Now, what the doctors will do if you take your child to the doctors for chronic migraines is they will never ask you the question about microwave exposure, because doctors are evil, ladies and gentlemen, and doctors destroy your health and give you petrochemical poisons to kill you and to make the pharmaceutical companies lots of money and to lower the population. And they're a bunch of brainwashed idiots who are totally arrogant, who have a God complex, who think they know everything and that you're just an idiot, and if you ask the wrong questions, they'll get mad at you. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Don't take your children to the doctors, all right? Unless, of course, they break their arm or they're dying. I don't take my BMW to the mechanic unless there's something wrong with it. If the car doesn't start, I try to figure out what's wrong with it. If there's a light on my dashboard, I try to figure out what fluid needs to be topped off. If the tire sensor goes off, I put air in the tire. I don't run to the mechanic to change my windshield wiper fluid, and neither should you with your children. They're going to give you chronic migraine medication, which is another problem because that causes all kinds of other health problems. Shut off your wireless in your homes. Tell your children to demand not to be exposed to microwaves at school. Now, another issue with chronic microwave exposure from Wi-Fi and WLAN systems and Wi-Fi hotspots and iPads and all this nonsense is bloody noses. Are your children getting bloody noses a lot? Did you know what microwaves do to your blood chemistry? Do you know what microwaves do to your platelet formation? Do you know that microwaves cause rouleau formations in your blood? Do you know that the military has studied this for decades and they've known it for 50 years? And they've put this stuff in every classroom in the United States. Now, if you go to the office with a bloody nose, the school nurse should be taking a report and demand that they do, because the school districts aren't logging these complaints. I know a teacher in Los Angeles Unified School District who has gone on record at a board meeting and stated that African American students who have classrooms in metal shipping containers that have been converted to classrooms with multiple Wi-Fi access points are bleeding out of their ears and noses. And the school district in Los Angeles Unified refuses to file incident reports on these events. So if your child's getting bloody noses, and if your child's getting migraines, it's from Wi-Fi exposure, microwave exposure, ladies and gentlemen. Now, another thing that these despicable weapons that have been deployed in our children's environments are doing is causing chronic insomnia. Did you know that a side effect from chronic microwave exposure is sleeplessness? That's right. I've cited, once again, a report from the 1970s that was prepared by the military, and it goes into great detail as to how microwave exposures cause insomnia. Are your children having a hard time sleeping? Is there a Wi-Fi access point in your bedroom? Is there an Xbox 360 plugged into the wall in their room, or a PlayStation? Like I said, unless you unplug these devices, those microwave systems are broadcasting even when they're powered off, ladies and gentlemen. That is a weapon. That is a silent weapon. The Xbox 360 was developed by Bill Gates Corporation. We all know what Bill Gates is involved in. He's involved in vaccines. Bill Gates is a eugenicist, ladies and gentlemen. He's a vile, disgusting human being that makes evil things. And the Bible talks about inventors of evil things and what will happen to them when they die. Now, so you're going to go to the doctors because that's what you think you need to do because your child can't sleep. Then your child's going to give them some sort of sleeping aid. Do you know what happens when you take sleeping pills? It causes depression. Now, if you want your child to be able to sleep, shut off the microwave systems in your home. Don't have a Wi-Fi repeater in your room or a Wi-Fi access point in your children's bedroom. One of my children has a friend at school, and this poor girl has to sleep in her bedroom with a Wi-Fi extender or a Wi-Fi repeater in her room. She has trouble sleeping. She has headaches. She has insomnia. You know what else happened to this poor young girl? She developed seizures, ladies and gentlemen, with no history of seizures in her family. You heard me. Microwaves can cause seizures. Microwaves cause insomnia. Microwaves cause migraines. Now, so you go to the doctors because your kid's getting headaches. They put them on pills for that. Then your kid ends up being sleepless, so they put them on pills for that. And then they end up getting depressed. Did you know that microwaves cause depression? Chronic microwave exposure causes depression, ladies and gentlemen. That is a documented fact. Once again, the military has studied this for decades. And there are studies that link chronic microwave exposure to depression. Well, sleeping pills cause depression too. So if you took your kid to the doctors for insomnia and they got sleeping pills, that's going to contribute to the depression. The headaches cause depression. You know what else? The Common Core causes depression. And the curriculum that these kids are being taught, how they came from rocks and monkeys and that they're an accident, that causes depression. And when they're given this transgender, bisexual, kinky sex ed curriculum starting in kindergarten like it's going on in the Anaheim School District at Betsy Ross Elementary today, that causes depression. So all these pills cause depression. So what do they give these children? Fluoride-based serotonin reuptake inhibitors. That's what they give children that are suffering from depression. You think anybody's going to bring up the fact that the microwaves are causing the depression? Because if they did, they wouldn't be able to sell them all these evil drugs. But like I said, folks, back to the beginning of my story. Microwave devices are a suicide weapon that have been handed out like lollipops on Halloween to unsuspecting children and parents. You may be one of those parents. The school district is the scary man that is putting the razor blades in the apples on Halloween, folks. That's right, you heard me. The school districts are the equivalent to the psychopaths that used to put razor blades in apples. Remember you used to hear about that on Halloween? That they would put poison in the candies or razor blades in the apples? I heard about that growing up. That's what the school districts are, folks. The school districts are involved in pure evil, rolling out microwave weaponry that have been given to your children, have been forced on your children, that have got your children addicted, and now these are killing your kids. Because guess what else this stuff does? It causes cancer. Microwaves cause cancer. The NTTP study, even though as rigged as it was, clearly shows a link in certain types of cancers. So microwaves cause insomnia, bloody noses, headaches, depression, and cancer. Guess what else they cause besides seizures, insomnia, bloody noses, headaches, and depression? They cause infertility. Microwave exposure has been shown to cause infertility in both male and female reproductive systems. Ladies and gentlemen, if your kid can't sleep, and he can't think, and he's not happy, and he's got headaches all the time, and he's on sleeping pills and headache pills, and he wants to go to the doctors, and then they give him all these drugs, and then they end up getting cancer, and then they can't have kids. What do you call a wireless device, folks? Is that something that Mother Teresa would have handed out in the slums of Calcutta? No, ladies and gentlemen. They're weapons, and they've been invented by a very evil man called Steve Jobs, and where he kept it on his abdomen is right where his pancreas was, folks. He died from pancreatic cancer, and he wouldn't let his kids have an iPad. Who runs Apple Computer Company? You go look it up, folks. You look at the people that run this company and that are proliferating these weapons all over the world. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, right now, you need to do something to save your children and stop letting them kill themselves. The government schools are killing your children. The government schools have school boards in my community, Fullerton, California, that know what they're doing and are doing it anyways. Chris Thompson, Lynn Thornley, Beverly Berryman, Hilda Sugarman, Janny Meyer, and now a Jeanette Vasquez are on the school board. They've continued to microwave the children. Robert Pletka, the school superintendent, continues to microwave the children. One of the assistant superintendents, who was in all the meetings we spoke at, went on a fishing trip with our superintendent a couple years ago and mysteriously died on the trip. And I just wonder if that has anything to do with any of this. Maybe he was going to go public and talk about it. His name was Ed Burdish. Really mysterious circumstances around his death. They claimed it was a heart attack. I don't know how many people have heart attacks when they're out fishing in Mexico. That's the most relaxing place you can go. Ladies and gentlemen, what is happening to our children is pure evil. They have been given suicide weapons by the school district, and it is up to you to protect your children in your home, folks. What is happening right now is that with your permission, hooked up to your Wi-Fi systems in your home, your kids are harming themselves and the rest of the members of your household. If you keep an iPad in your lap, and look this up on apple666.org, or look at these gaming controllers, your children are going to develop testicular cancer and infertility, or ovarian cancer. They're going to keep these phones in their breasts, they're going to develop breast cancer. They keep these iPads in their breasts, by their breasts, or their abdomen, they're going to get some form of cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're pregnant, did you know that your child will develop autism if you have chronic microwave exposure near your abdomen? How do I know this? Go to an article called Carbonyl Iron and Orange County, the autism capital of the state. Google that and you'll see the article I wrote on this. Are you going to let the evil school district system destroy your children? Are you going to do something about taking back their health? It's simple, folks. You can reclaim your home and clean up your house and get all the microwave systems out of your home. If you live in an apartment, you're in a more difficult situation because that stuff's coming through all your walls and possibly even from above and below you. However, you can buy radio frequency shielding paint and you can paint your walls, or you can at least do it to the bedrooms where you sleep. I strongly urge you to look into all this, folks, and do something to protect your children. Chronic microwave exposure causes headaches, causes migraines, causes insomnia, causes bloody noses, causes confusion, issues with memory, difficulty concentrating. It causes seizures. It causes cancer. It causes infertility. Is there any other horrible thing you want done to your child by the school district? Because if there is, why don't you send me an email and I'll make sure they add it to their regiment. I'm joking, ladies and gentlemen, but I wish this was not a joke. This is a very serious issue. And it is up to you to, at the very least, make your home safe, hardwire your devices. I will be going into what the lighting of these devices does to your children in a subsequent video. In the meantime, in Jesus' name, ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to do your research. Go to the FullertonInformer.com and look at the article on the front page and familiarize yourself with what is being done to your children through the school districts. Go to WiFiDangers.com. Go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and spread the word, folks. We're running out of time. We've had years of exposure for these children, and the chickens are coming home to roost, folks. It's never too late to do the right thing, and now is the time to start. This is Joe Briano coming to you from Orange County, California. Please do what's required to save your children.